Due to aging or illness, the elderly's mobility decreases significantly. Using a wheelchair to help the elderly move safely is one of the practical and simple methods. Next, let's learn together how to correctly use a wheelchair to move the elderly. Assessment. Assess that the environment is spacious, clean, with appropriate temperature and humidity. The floor is flat and free of water accumulation. Assess the elderly's medical condition, consciousness state. The elderly person is conscious and can cooperate with the operation. Conduct a local assessment of the elderly's limb mobility. Diagnosis. Based on the assessment results, it is determined that the elderly's walking ability is weak, and a wheelchair is needed for mobility to ensure safety. Planning. The wheelchair will be used to enable the elderly to move. Implementation. Prepare supplies including a wheelchair. Prepare a blanket and a safety belt if necessary. The caregiver should dress neatly, washing their hands thoroughly. Communicate with the elderly and explain the purpose of the operation. To meet the elderly's needs for activity and social interaction, expand the range of activities, and move the elderly safely. Check that all parts of the wheelchair are tightly connected. The tires and brakes are in good condition, and the seat cushion and backrest are stable. Fold up the footrests. Then push the wheelchair to the elderly's bedside, making the wheelchair form a 45-degree angle with the bed, or aligning the wheelchair backrest with the end of the bed. Apply the brakes to secure the wheelchair. Communicate with the elderly and explain the upcoming actions to gain the elderly's cooperation. Ask the elderly to put their hands on the caregiver's shoulders. The caregiver supports the elderly's waist or pulls the elderly's waist belt, placing one knee between the elderly's knees and the other leg on the outside. Pressing against the elderly's knees to fix them. Help the elderly stand up. During the process, observe and ask the elderly to confirm there is no dizziness or other discomfort. Assist the elderly in sitting from a standing position to the wheelchair. Rotate the body with the outer foot as the axis. Assist the elderly in sitting stably on the wheelchair. After the elderly sits stably, ask them to confirm there is no dizziness or other discomfort. Help the elderly adjust their sitting posture. The caregiver stands behind the wheelchair backrest, slips both hands through the elderly's armpits, supports the elderly, adjusts the elderly's sitting posture. To ensure they sit fully back in the wheelchair seat, fasten the safety belt. Lower the footrests and let the elderly put their feet on the footrests. According to the weather conditions and the elderly's specific situation, cover the elderly with a blanket. Release the brakes and push the wheelchair. When using the wheelchair on stairs, when going upstairs, inform the elderly in advance. Then step on the lever at the rear of the wheelchair to lift the front wheels. With the two rear wheels as the fulcrum, move the front wheels smoothly onto the steps. Then use the two front wheels as the fulcrum. Lift the handlebars with both hands. Lift the rear wheels and move them smoothly onto the steps. When going down steps, inform the elderly in advance. Turn the wheelchair to face opposite the direction of progress. The caregiver stands in front, and the wheelchair is behind. Instruct the elderly to hold the armrests tightly. Lift the handlebars. Move the rear wheels smoothly to the next step. Then use the 2 rear wheels as the fulcrum. Lift the front wheels, and then move the front wheels smoothly to the next step. When using the wheelchair on uphill and downhill sections, when going uphill, inform the elderly in advance. The caregiver stands in front, and the wheelchair is behind. Instruct the elderly to hold the armrests tightly. The caregiver supports the rear of the wheelchair and moves forward slowly. When going downhill, inform the elderly in advance. Turn the wheelchair to face opposite the direction of progress. The caregiver stands in front, and the wheelchair is behind. Instruct the elderly to hold the armrests tightly. The caregiver observes the road ahead, while going downhill slowly. When going up and down the elevator, inform the elderly in advance and position the wheelchair facing away from the direction of travel. The caregiver stands in front, and the wheelchair is behind. Instruct the elderly to hold the armrests tightly. The caregiver observes the road ahead, while moving up and down the elevator slowly. After entering the elevator, apply the brakes firmly immediately. After the operation, confirm that the elderly has no discomfort and the movement is safe. The precautions for this operation are: 1. During the operation, pay attention to observing the road conditions. Monitor the elderly's condition at all times, and ask if they have any discomfort. 2. Move the wheelchair smoothly when using it. Avoid sudden acceleration, deceleration, and direction changes. Avoid large vibrations of the wheelchair to prevent accidents to the elderly. 3. Communicate with the elderly at any time during the operation to keep track of the elderly's situation. That's all for this lesson. Thank you all.